Today I'll bring you a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, bring you comics news, and reveal the books I bought this week. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching the Comic Hero Show. Now kick that logo! Welcome to this edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. The summer of superheroes continues, and on this episode, I'm paying tribute to the wall crawler, good old webhead, Spidey himself, your friendly neighborhood amazing Spider-Man. And this is a Spider-Man comic hero team, and inside the speech bubble are webs, and then to go along with it, this the Spider Family logo, and then the Spider-Man hat. Now, there was a poll that I originally set up earlier this week, and it was between this shirt and the Miles Morales Spider-Man comic hero tee. Now, the Miles Morales Spider-Man comic hero tee received a lot of votes. However, in the light of some news that we all received this week, that I'm going to talk about in Comically Speaking, I've decided to wear this shirt. And it's going to be something I'm going to talk about. It's something that's very important for a lot of film goers. It's also kind of hardening. All right, now because this is an odd numbered episode, I'm not going to give away a free T-shirt, but I will let you know what the question is for a free tee in the drawing that I'm doing on episode 272. Which actress became infamous for wanting to kill Tim Burton because she lost the role of Catwoman in Batman Returns to Michelle Pfeiffer? Everyone who answers correctly has been in the drawing for a free tee on episode 272. Now, Tammy Cantrell from Warren, Ohio, has requested a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, and this one features two popular Marvel characters. One character at one point was a female. Representing Marvel, we have the Invisible Woman. And also representing Marvel, we have Ghost Rider. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call
the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's the Invisible Woman versus Ghost Rider. To make this fight a little fairer, let's go with the Alejandra Jones Ghost Rider. The Invisible Woman possesses invisibility, projective invisibility, and invisible force field projection, which bestows the ability to generate protective invisible shields and invisible energy constructs, as well as the power to control and manipulate objects. Ghost Rider possesses superhuman strength, stamina, and durability, a regenerative healing factor, empathic reading, Sid perception, Sid eating, Hellfire infusion, Hellfire projection, Hellfire forgery, Hellfire attacks, biblical representation, Hellfire removal, Hellfire exoskeleton, soul reading, soul consumption, vortex creation, electricity generation, paranormal weather generation, mystical chain projection, size projection, size alteration, and pendant stare. Who would win? This fight would be back and forth at first. Ghost Rider would use a combination of fighting skills and weapons, most of which the Invisible Woman blocks with her force fields. Ghost Rider would then try to round her up with her mystical chain, but the Invisible Woman turns it invisible. Ghost Rider is stunned by this, but then she's stunned again when the Invisible Woman creates a force field around her own hand and punches Ghost Rider in the face. As a last resort, Ghost Rider trips up the Invisible Woman, looks down at her, and gives her the pendant stare. Instead of killing the Invisible Woman, it unleashes her Malice personality. Malice would destroy Ghost Rider's motorcycle and use her weapons against her. Ghost Rider realizes that she made a huge mistake and immediately converts Malice back to her regular form. Thinking the fight is continuing, the Invisible Woman guards herself. Ghost Rider then says, "That's okay. I don't want to fight you anymore." This fight ends in a draw. And that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed that fight, and I'll have another fight for episode 273. Now it's time for Comically Speaking, so without further ado, let's talk comics! All right, there's only going to be one thing that I'm going to talk about on this segment of Comically Speaking, and it's news that has sent shockwaves throughout the film world and also to a lot of fans like me. Sony has announced earlier this week that they have ended their partnership with Marvel Studios. There have been a lot of, I mean, it's pretty much a they said scenario, and then Stan Lee's daughter, J.C. Lee, has come out and said that Marvel has done nothing but disrespect the legacy. Is not just disrespected Stan, her father, the late great Stan Lee, but also disrespected his work. Now, I'm not going to I'm not going to say anything bad about her, because one, that's not what I'm about, and two, there way too many people have done that already. Now, I don't know what really went on with Marvel, because, well, obviously, you know, I'm just a reader, I'm just a fanboy, and therefore I don't know all the facts. And then, just like I don't know what really went on with Marvel Studios and Sony. Now, keep in mind, Sony owns the film rights to Spider-Man and anything related to Spider-Man, including Venom. It's just sad. Now, there have been some folks that I know that have, fans like me that have poked fun about that, but then, when a partnership ends, there's just something about that I really don't find funny. I mean, because Sony in Marvel Studios came up with two great Spider-Man movies, with Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home, which just came out this past summer, or come out just over a month ago, and Sony claims that they could do without Marvel Studios. I don't know if that's entirely true, considering the last two movies, or the last two movie series. The one that were the two that were directed by, the three that were directed by Sam Raimi, and the two that were directed by Mark Webb. I don't know if they could really do without Marvel Studios, and I just hate that they're, this has just been some back and forth stuff, and I just hope that because I would say that one side is greedy, but really both sides are. I mean, when you sit and you think about it, Sony has always had the film rights to Spider-Man and anything related to it for a very long time, and Marvel, wants to bring all their characters under one roof, which I honestly thought was happening, but I honestly don't know why this partnership ended. I thought it was because, at first I thought it was because of the Marvel Studios didn't surpass $2 billion at the box office with Spider-Man Far From Home, but I'm not sure that's why. I honestly don't know. Although last night I found out that there's a possibility that Marvel and Sony have nipped it in the bud and come up with a new deal. I hope. Now, at first I believed it, but then I found out that that it was something that was really talked about. It was only talked about through cosmic book news. It wasn't talked about in any other avenue of social media or any other avenue of news, period. So I don't know if that's true or not. I hope it is, because it just doesn't, because it just doesn't affect the actors. I mean, Tom Holland just killed it ever since he made his debut in Captain America Civil War, which I still believe is an Avengers movie, ever since he made his debut in that movie, and then in Spider-Man Homecoming, and Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame, and then most recently in Spider-Man Far From Home. This is going, I mean, to end this partnership, to say that the end of this partnership is going to have a huge effect on the Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward is an understatement. Now, I'm saying all this, and you may think that I'm siding with Marvel Studios. Actually, I'm not. I'm not siding with Marvel Studios, nor am I siding with Sony. I'm siding with the side of the moviegoer, the fan. And I just hope something does come to fruition. I hope something good comes out of this, because only something good could come out of something like this. And this is something that I'm very upset about. I literally lost sleep because of this. But there were rumors going around that because of this going on, that Marvel was going to end all Spider-Man books and kill all characters off. I honestly believe that's false. I mean, that Stan Lee and Steve Ditko left behind probably one of the greatest legacies of comics, much less Marvel comics, and for them to do that, it is petty, it's irresponsible, it's just wrong. I mean, because when you think Marvel comics, one of the first characters that comes to mind is Spider-Man. Spider-Man has been around for 57 years. It's 57 years this month. And look at all the great characters that have come along the... I mean, it all started off with Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And then it bloomed it. And then over the decades, over the years, we see all these other great characters being created. I mean, of course, Mary Jane Watson, J. Jonah Jameson, and some of the villains like the Green Goblin, Hobgoblin, Sandman, Rhino, Electro, Dr. Octopus, who's now the Superior Spider-Man, and some of these other great characters like Silk, the Miles Morales Spider-Man, which I think is like the most genius thing that Brian Michael Bendis, who's now with DC, has ever done. And that was a legacy, that was his own legacy that he left at Marvel when he created that. And you just and for Marvel to just get rid of that, it's wrong. And then on top of that, Marvel did this once before with Wolverine and the Fantastic Four. Went on ahead and killed them off, only to bring them back. But let's be honest, Marvel shouldn't have killed them off in the first place, or shouldn't have ended their books. Because let's just face it, folks, the comics tell the true story, therefore the comics have nothing to do with the movies. The movies are pretty much are pretty much another dimension, but as I always say, the comics tell the true stories. But as far as the big screen goes, I just hope Sony and Marvel can come up with a deal. Because it's hardening. It's saddening to know that this is happening. And I just hope that whatever that was that I saw on Cosmic Book News was the truth, and that Spider-Man will be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe again. Because I honestly don't believe that Sony can do without Marvel Studios. They tried twice and they failed twice. And again, I'm not siding with anyone. I'm just using common sense. Alright, that's it for Comically Speaking. Let's get to the comics I bought this week.
comic books I bought this week.
Alright, first up is Guardians of the Galaxy number 5. Guardians of the Galaxy number 7. Guardians of the Galaxy Annual number 1. Savage Avengers number 3. Savage Avengers number 4. Agents of Atlas number 1. And finally, Year of the Villain, Sinestro. Alright, that's 7, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 9,527. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and I just hope that Sony and Marvel can nip it in the bud and get a new deal. And I just hope that, you know, something good comes out of this, not just for both companies, but for the actors as well. And then also, now on Facebook earlier this week, I had said that episode 272 was going to be the last episode that I do of the Summer of Superheroes, and then I was going to take a break and do episode 273 and go back to doing one episode a week. But then I remembered that I had 2 more shirts. Now I'm not going to do a poll for these shirts, and I'm not going to tell you what shirts these are. You'll just have to tune in to episodes 273 and 274 when I do them. When I do episode, I'm going to wear a Miles Morales comic hero tee when I do episode 272. I really enjoyed, you know, the Summer of Superheroes, and I know that, and I've said this before, there are a lot of shirts that I've made that I haven't featured. I mean, I've made X-Men, different individual X-Men comic hero tees. I made Fantastic Four comic hero tees that y'all seen on, those of y'all that follow me on Facebook and Instagram have seen, and then there's several more, and I want to feature those shirts on future episodes. So what I'm going to do, with the exception of October and December, I'm going to, in the months to come, I'm going to feature at least one of those shirts in one episode per month. And that's pretty much it. Alright, I'm Victor Nunley on A Comic Hero. I'll see you next time for episode 272. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero, and with great power comes great responsibility.